Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to another video. I don't have a name for these, but we're taking a look over at the Epic Destiny system over in Llama Land. I didn't get a chance to take a look at them yesterday, which is probably for the best because now we can take a look at them with a little bit of an expectation of what's going on here, a little bit of criticism that we can just put in these videos from the very beginning. So I've got some of the primals loaded: Primal Avatar, Fury of the Wild, Shiradi Champion. We'll take a look at those first. Primal is set up via these three paths. You have fire, you have electric, and you have acid. Of course, they have extra powers as well, but you kind of pick your path here. You can pick a secondary power also, but as we'll discuss in a little bit, I just don't think there's any reason to do that. Sure. This is the opportunity that you can pick up your second, special if you want to. Your special affinity, your minor affinity. And if you take a minor, it lets you switch out your secondary tier power here as well. So you can minor in it and take your second tier power. But I found that messes things up a little bit later. So, yeah. Alright, so to just kind of give a little bit of an overview here, I'm not going to delve into every power or whatever on these videos. I'm just going to kind of scattershot a little bit here. Primal Avatar, and this is your nature, heart, going fire, is just absolutely insane. This Reborn in Fire is very good. Even considering that I have nothing, right? Let's see where's the. I guess I should just find some plebs and stay there. All right, here's some plebs. That's a pretty reasonable amount of damage, but something that Tobrel pointed out is if you pay attention to this green circle and the healing that's firing off, it's actually a pretty significant amount of healing as well. So it's so insanely good, right? Compared to this power and the other two trees don't have this healing power. So it just kind of incentivizes you to do the one with the extra perk, as opposed to the two that are just it's just damage. It's just this surrounds your enemies and does 1d6 of X damage per character to enemies, right? It doesn't have this extra and healing allies for whatever other perk you want to give somebody. So it just incentivizes you to be fire right away, which I thought one of the goals of these Epic Destiny revamps were to kind of avoid favoritism of fire in the Epic Destiny treatment. Some of the things that kind of stand out to me in here, natural evasion. The ability to pick up evasion is pretty sweet. It is 22 points, which is a relatively hefty investment. But again, if you're a spellcaster and you're a fire-based spellcaster, I could very easily see sliding these 11 points in, and at that point, it becomes very easy to pick up some DCs here, pick up some spellcasting stat, and slide in. Speaking of stats, this is something else that Tobrel pointed out you can check out his stream and playbacks and clips or whatever at his YouTube channel as well. But we kind of co-opted a little bit last night. But he pointed out that these are the only places pretty much left that you can get +2 to a stat. Almost all of that's been removed from the Epic Destiny trees. So if you want +2 to strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, this might be the best game in town. Just something to think about. So it may become pretty likely that it's easy to invest 20 some points in Primal Avatar as a way to pick up evasion on your casters. I don't know. It seems likely to me. The other thing here, this Nature's Blessing, Tobrel felt like it was something that would never No one's ever going to take this. One guy will take it for the buffer on the one like batch of raids that they'll take the time to do this on. But for the person who's got to do it, right, it's going to be for the raids that have to be done, etc. They'll be glad that they have taken it. This Nature's Blessing. Terrell also had a lot of confusion around these epic moments, or epic meta reductions. Basically because it literally is side by side. I theorize there's a lot of work going on with the value of the different tiers and what needs to be hidden behind paths and what needs or gated behind a path or prerequisites and what doesn't, and where things land on the power level. You're going to notice maybe a couple more times this tier 1 plus 3 PRR MMR for 3 points. We're going to see that again in a couple other trees, and they feel really bad to me. They feel really filler. Even if they were doubled, I don't know if it would be enough, but for sure right now this one's not good enough. Let's see, was there anything else that kind of like extra stood out in this tree? 15 spell power is fine. Oh yeah, Mass Frog, we played with it a little bit last night. The change to using the highest of Int, Wisdom, or Charisma seems really good, and transmutation bonuses, which you pick up from the tree down below. I think if you're looking to Mass Frog, I think it's very good. It does kind of suck that it's not a feat now, right? Greater Form. Did we... Oh yeah, the Greater Form. Greater Form is another one of these points that could have or should have been made here, where the same thing with the fire is so much better than everything else. So you become a Summer Fire for 20 seconds. You gain 25% action boost to speed. You become ethereal to monsters for purposes of movement. And you uncap your bonus to dodge. You get some absorption, 100% absorption of fire and light damage. You do a bunch of fire damage per character level as an AoE around you and heal your allies. So you become your own healing and firewall, right? For 20 seconds. That's pretty good. Right? Now compare that to Greater Form Sky Rager. Gain enchantment spell cost reduction of 10% to all spells. Gain enchantment spell cost reduction of 10% to all spells. This is literally doing 300, or sorry, it's going to do 10 ticks, right? 10 ticks of 30d6 of damage and 30d6 of healing every 2 seconds. Like that's a lot of gas. That is a lot of gas in the tank. I just feel like one of these is not like the others, and it's way good. And that's the same, again, repeated down here with the Reborn in Fire. It's very good. The other two are kind of... okay, so that's... oh, the Primal Avatar stuff here. The Thorn guy seemed okay. And the Primal Ally seemed okay. The Heart. I was kind of hoping that you would be able to take advantage of the shared mantle, where your summons have the benefit to use your spell power and main trailer to scale up, to increase their power. And then I also thought that there's an opportunity somewhere for your summons to also give extra damage when they do their fire damage, or they do their various, like it might be a different tree. Yeah, I might be getting confused with all the different things, but no, here it is. Okay, so Mantle of Nature. Your various effects start giving the opportunity to fire off like free cocoons, right? Or extra damage that fires off. works very nicely. And then these things going. Do you know if you can have one of those summons at the same time as a dog already skelly? I don't know that yet. Do I have a way to check it out? Like, I don't think I can summon. All I could do is summon a hireling, which would be in a different channel anyway. Yeah, I don't have a way to check that out, unfortunately. So, Beef has asked, do you know if you can have one of these top tier summons and a already dog skelly at the same time? You used to could, but I don't know if you could now. I don't know. I think if you like spellcasting and I think you like to use your pets, I think you're going to find, especially if you're a fire spellcaster, I think you're going to find a lot of value out of the Primal Avatar. I think if you just have a little bit of stuff going on, I could really see people dipping into this tree just real lightly to pick up Cocoon still. I think these Friends of Nature have all been increased in such a way that they're very interesting. Picking up an attack and a heal, like an AoE heal, seems very easy to me for 20 spell points. Anyway, Primal Avatar's got a lot of good stuff in it. Fury of the Wild, diehard feat, 20 hit points, melee power. It seems pretty good in general. This is one that I didn't get a chance to look at really deeply, so I will look at this a little bit closer. So, if you go all the way up, you get Fortitude, Reflex, Will saving throws versus traps, and then you get +1 dodge. Does this increase your cap and your value? Like, because some of these things are just you get +1 dodge. If it's +1 dodge cap and +1 dodge, then it's a lot better. If it's just +1 dodge, then it's whatever. Epic Strikes, Adrenaline. Your next melee attack. Okay, so these are like your boosts. Does 25% more damage and increase your critical threat by 16. Okay, Adrenaline seems gas. How does this power up nicely? Wow, it does power up nicely too. Okay, so one of the things that Tobrell pointed out last night is that Adrenaline no longer is bows. It's just melees. But it seems really good. 75% more damage. I think if they do more of these extra damages or whatever as extra % damage boost, or start getting away from static damage numbers and start giving percentage values, I think they're going to see a very positive response for very little numbers and a whole lot less math. Alright, +3 to trip DCs, and if you're wearing medium or light, you get an extra +3 bonus to trip DCs. So if you're in light or medium, you pick up 6 to trip DCs. I think this could be interesting because I think the chain builds are going to be good. Can you imagine, like, Adrenaline pop off your big chain, wham, wham, wham on that 3 big attacks, and then your trip DCs are insane as well, and you just, like, knock everything down on that big trip. And that's for just existing and having Fury of the Wild and the Savage Takedown, basically, as a Shatter Cry. So this is good depending if you want to build towards it. Mantle of the Fury. So your mantle is you get 5% damage against helpless targets. 5, 10, 15%. You also gain 2d10, 40-10, 60-10 positive energy healing every 15 seconds. Scales with positive spell power or 200% melee. Okay, that's cool. You can Adrenaline the sonic damage on Primal Scream. Okay. Okay, we'll take a look. We might screw around with it. Alright. Primal Scream. I don't know, it seems good. A lot of the mantles don't seem that great right out of the gate. A lot of them you have to, like, apply the modifiers to, and then they seem good. So not to completely steal one of Tobrell's comments, but I agree with him. And I guess now's as good a time as any while we're kind of talking about it. Here's the Mantle of Fury for Fury of the Wild. Where is it over here? In the Primal Avatar tree. Oh, here we go. What? I guess they both look like a guy meditating. How about the Shiradi Champion one? Does it look like a guy meditating? Where does it exist at? Is this... Here's a mantle. Here's a mantle. So, can we do something like either to put them all in the same place? Can we... it would be fine if they were color-coded with like an extra thing or something. I think that they should go in the same area of the tree. If you can't put it in the same row, right? Because this row 1 down here needs to be less valuable than the row above. I get that, but could we do columns at least? Like, your mantle will always fall in the first column. I want a visual cue on the character for the mantle. Something, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that too for what you're channeling. But I mean, in like, for purposes of finding it and knowing what's going on, can we do that? Also, if you're going to have things gated, like, this makes a lot of sense, right? Here's your mantle. This modifies your mantle. Here is our mantle. We will find things that modify our mantle, and they will not be connected. They will not be in the same column. They will not be related to one another. It'd be nice if there was some way that pointed out that, hey, this modifies this. Maybe you should look at it. And it could be like, even if it could be at the same, if it needed to be at the same level, you could have it point into the, like, it's grayed out until you do this and then it points over. I don't know. You could do some stuff. This UI stuff needs to be normalized. If you're going to strip it apart, normalize it so it's easy to use. Then give effects on the character. That'd be great. Alright, mini rant over. Six PRR. So if it's only one versus both, they'll give you 2. But if it's both, they give you 1 of each. Literally, if six of one worth 2, or sorry, worth 3 of each of the other 2. That sounded cuter in my head when I was trying to figure out how to put it into words. Anyway, may or may not be good. I don't know. I feel like it's probably not going to be good, but maybe it's good. Maybe if you're like trying to push the 30 or something, and you want it. All right. Weapons bypass cold iron. Could be good. Could be good. Primal Scream. This is a nearby enemies take 1d20 sonic damage per character level and are shaken for 30 seconds. This damage scales with the highest of melee power or sonic spell power, and you and your allies gain 2 morale bonus to strength, dexterity, constitution for 5 minutes. Alright, so you're saying that you can adrenaline your Primal Scream? It doesn't look like you can, unless this also provides a melee attack, but it doesn't look like it should. But that is funny if you can. More Barbarian Rages. So if you're not already a Barbarian and you don't ever have Rages, you can get Rages and etc. Okay. It's a tier 4 or 5. Okay. We'll look at it when we get up there. Against shaken and feared enemies, you gain +1 to hit and damage. We have a couple of ways to fear and shaken things, right? Okay. It's probably fine. Now, I mean, extra +3 to hit and damage. If you have to wear underwear on your head to do it, it's fine. Fast and Furious. Melee attack. Doesn't reduce cooldown. So it has to have useful effects modifiers. +1 weapon die. Tier 2, +2 weapon die, +1 critical multiplier. Tier 3, 3 weapon die, 2 multiple weapon die. On use, if you are raging, the cooldown on this ability is reset, allowing you to use it a second time immediately. Alright, so if you're raging, you can run over Bam Bam. That's worth tier 3, right? So, like, this is your first attack in the sequence. You, like, run in. Well, maybe not your first, but at some point in the chain while you're raging, you can slam this back to back for 2 attacks, and then you can move on with your attack chain, however you like to do it. It might be good. I feel like I'm talking myself out of it. I think it's got potential. Alright. Sense weakness. Alright, so here. It modified... I like how they color-coded it, right? So, Fury of the Wild, Destiny Mantle, color-coded. It stands out from the flavor text. But again, there's no way to... there's nothing that tells me that this and this go together when you're looking at this tree, except for when you're mousing over it, you see it. Alright. 2%, 4%, and 6% fortification bypass. Our Fury of the Wild Mantle grants 5, 10, 15 damage to helpless. That's good. I'll take it. Take that all day. Wild weapons, you get a toggle between doubles. Okay, this goes up 3. So I assume it's going to go... I guess I better spend some points in this tree. Or at least pretend I'm spending points in this tree. Yeah, okay, so 3% double strike. 10% offhand strike chance. Or... Oops. 15% strike through, depending on your build. That seems like a great selector. Right? If you're 2-weapon fighting, it's good. If you're strike throughing, it's good. If you're just doing single weapon fighting stuff, it's good. Like, it seems good. Eternal Rage, if you're not raging and currently out of rage charges, you have a 1% chance to gain a charge of rage whenever you strike a foe, and that increases to 3. I feel like you're going to get a rage back pretty quick. Well, maybe not quick. So I guess the question is, how quickly do they want you to get your rage back once you're out of rages? So pretend that you only have this. I guess they don't want you to take this 1 point and always have a rage, right? So it can't be so good that you're going to get it back within the the very next fight. So you're down 1 fight without a rage. So they don't want that. But I think at 3% you'll be able to get it before the next fight's over. And that's if you would rather spend your 3 points on getting your rage back, as opposed to preemptively to have rages, which seems weird. Especially if you're built around in such a way that you're going to rage. Like, you're built to be advantage while raging, so you want infinite rages. So you build yourself in such a way that a large chunk of the next fight you're going to be unraged. That doesn't seem like a build. Like, that makes sense to me. So I'm not sure what this Eternal Rage does. If somebody has a logic where you want Eternal Rage, talk to me. I would very much like to hear it. Fury Selector. Fury Selector face. You get +1 strength while raging. Adrenalis is increased to 25. Is this a tier? Oh my goodness. Does this go up? Adrenalis damage bonuses increase. So it increases with this 75%. So you're doing 150% damage on your next attack. So like if your next attack is going to be something that's just like completely disgusting, right? That's like 5 weapon dice or 10 weapon dice, whatever, and you have like this gross weapon in your hand. You're just kind of it's the hunt in for melee. Wow, the hunt's ends for me. Wow. That sounds really powerful, doesn't it? Okay, what's the next one? Spirit of the Beast, +2 attack bonus. At rank 3, so I assume it's 2, 4, 6. At rank 3, the effects of Ram's Might and Animal Growth are doubled for you. Is there a chance that you want that instead of the other thing? It just seems so bad by comparison, right? Every 8 seconds, your next thing just goes explode. This... Am I wrong? This is just pure gasoline. Alright, what do I even have in my weapon hand? I have a Pain. Okay. These. Alright. So what's my big fancy attack? Is it this? No. Is it this? Yes. Legendary Rally. But that's currently not set, right? That's my big attack from this tree. One of these trees. Okay, so our current big thing is just Spinning Ice. Okay. That's fine. Just want to know what my big fancy thing is. Okay, 2,000. That does not seem very good. I'm also not really a melee. Keep in mind. What is my current melee power on this guy, by the way, with the way things are currently going? Yeah, see, right now we're only at 100, or we're only at 80 melee power. So honestly, that's not that bad for us, I don't think. God, I wish I was on Samius. But you cannot take your guild leader over, and Samius happens to be the guild leader right now of the defense guild. Now, if I had known that, I probably could have made some arrangements, but I didn't know that, so I didn't make arrangements. Yeah, I don't know if you would ever take the other one. And this may... +3 strength while raging. Adrenaline damage bonus is increased by 75%. Okay. Die harder. Sure. I'll take more melee power real fast. Oh, sure. Okay, so we looked at these. We looked at this. We decided this is all good news, right? Yeah. Embrace the pain. When you drop below 15, 25, or 40% hit points, you immediately heal a little bit. And you continue to do so always 6 seconds, until you are over 40%, 25, or 15% hit points. Okay. Wow. So whenever you go below 40%, you get a heal that ticks up every couple of seconds until you are back to 40%. The question is, how does this get reduced in Reaper? Right? If it gets hit really hard in Reaper, this is pointless. If it doesn't get hit that hard in Reaper, it's pretty good. Maybe not. Maybe it's not that good. Maybe it's never that good. I was just thinking like free healing to get you back to 40, and then you can top off. But you're never going to wait. You just need to live through the fight. And if you're looking at this through live through the fight, this does nothing. Unless it gives you a big hit when you fall below. So yeah, you need that 2d10 to be a good hit. That first one has to heal you for a reasonable amount, or it's just garbage. Okay. Sorry, especially these ones that I haven't read before, I'm going to have to think out, and I apologize for that. Like I said, I did get through Primal Avatar last night, so I knew what I was expecting for it, but not Fury. Reduce all damage except untyped by 8, 12, 15% for 5 seconds after you consume a rage charge or use a Primal Scream. I assume this is all incoming damage. Then you get to fire off your Primal Scream every 30 seconds. So every 30 seconds or so you can make reduce all damage. Again, I'm assuming this is incoming damage. Survivability is good. Next. Adrenaline now grants additional 25% bonus to damage. At rank 3, foes struck by your adrenaline attacks are now knocked down for 4 seconds. That seems like great. I'm assuming, again, this is going to go 25, 50, etc. I guess I have to spend points in the tree. How many points I got to spend? 20? Sure. Okay. Yeah. So now you're at 100. You're at 250% damage on your adrenaline. Alright, so now it's a matter of can the Primal Force make a comeback enough that you actually would rather do it instead. So all the way upgraded, Primal Force goes 4 to attack bonus, 6 bypass. While 2 weapon fighting or an animal form, you gain an additional 2% damage with all attacks. Okay, so it's 2% scaling damage all the time if you're 2 weapon fighting or an animal form. Worth losing 75% stacking damage off of your fury or your adrenaline attack. That is a choice, mate. I guess if you're you'll have to sit down with some math and figure out if you're better off if you're 2 weapon fighting or not to be in, because you don't have the one big boom, right? It's not like you're about to smash Becky. You're not pulling out your greatsword and you're just like rawr if you're 2-handed fighting. So like maybe the one super attack is not as important if you're 2-handed fighting as opposed to getting 2% damage is noticeable. Especially if that 2% damage hits like sneak attack dice and your other trailing dice. I just wish I was on a damage build. Again, if Samius was over here, we could take the time to make things happen. Samius has the gear and the past lives and stuff to support that kind of swapping. Java does not. So, alright, let's see. Another multi-selector. I wish it was like, they should be around together. Right? A multi-selector section. Anyway. I'm assuming 2, 4, 6 double strike. Yeah, that's good. Another 10% to offhand? Really? So you can get 20% to offhand? Not saying you should, but in the dojo you can get whatever gear pass levels you want. And if I was interested in testing a very specific build, I would definitely do that. Like, we might still do that for one of the, like, the Samius Force build. We might screw around a little bit. But for diving on some of these at a top level, I'm not going to take the time to do that now. Again, on Samius, I would have been a little bit easier to do that. If we wanted to do a deep dive on something later, or tomorrow or something, or why Lamana is still up, we can definitely do that. Voice of Fury. Doubles the damage and stat bonuses of your Primal Scream. If Adrenaline or Quick is active when you use Primal Scream, the damage is tripled instead, and nearby enemies have a 75% chance to become confused for 3 seconds. Okay. This was one of the things that I remember thinking, like, could be insane. But I also remember that we were really taking a dump on giving out Quick. And I was thinking maybe this was the opportunity that would make Quick worth something. But now I honestly don't remember where that was that gave out Quick. So doubles the damage and stat bonuses of your Primal Scream. So this is what Beef was talking about. So now instead of 1d20, it's doing double 1d20, whatever. And the stat bonuses. So instead of plus 2, right? Instead of 2 to dexterity, whatever, it'll go to 4. If Adrenaline or Quick is active when you use Primal Scream, the damage is tripled and nearby enemies have a chance to become confused. And again, you're just firing off Primal Scream like roughly every time it's off cooldown. At least once per fight, probably, right? So if you're firing it off at least once per fight, then it's just a pure upgrade, right? So it seems good. Hey, good morning, Billy. Top Dog, you gain the improved trip feed. I think this is good. It just becomes, do we get enough feats opened up or given to us on our new level 20 to 30 progression that we can take this feat instead if we want it? Or is it going to be where 2 action points is more cost effective than 1 feat? It makes Primal Scream the highest DPS Sonic spell in the game. Sounds good. Transfer to Argo. You're going to try the server for a bit. Do it. Be a server wanderer. Chronicle your adventures. The adventures of Billy and this wonderful server migration. Okay, I think this could be good. I don't know if it's enough good. But, I mean, it is like +4 to your trip. It should say, like, if you already have improved trip, instead, your trip DC goes to this. So it's always good. But doing that, I think, would be enough to make this exciting. Okay, tier 5. 30 points in the tree, 1 tier. Every 2 wilderness lore feats now grant 1% primal bonus to maximum hit points. So, the classes that get 1 every level, Barbarian and Druid. Do Rangers get 1 every level? Can pick up 15% primal bonus to hit points? Thick. Thick boy. Yeah, thick boy. Or let you trip flying enemies. Something, right? Like Top Dog. Come on, man. I have to totally admit to everybody, I'm kind of having a little bit of a sick fantasy right now about doing like a big chain tripping build. Like really doing a lot of AoE tripping. And I feel like SSG, has been picking up on my brain signals or something, trying to make trips good. I don't know if it's going to be good, but that's just a fantasy I've had lately. And it seems like they're trying to feed into my sick fantasy. So we'll see if it's any good. Scarred by Chaos. Gain 50 hit points and 10 PRR. Double if you have the Harbinger of Chaos feats. Okay, cool. Just good. They are in my mind. They're watching the stream. I feel like they are. I feel like somebody there is watching the stream, using the stream for feedback. And it's totally fine. They're welcome to do that. Unbridled Fury. For the next 30 seconds, you gain 100,000 million unconscious range. What? You heal for 10% of your max hit points every 5 seconds. And your things are increased by half of their base values. Strength, dexterity, and constitution are increased by half of their base values. Base values are starting plus stat increases plus tome ? All of the cooldown things are at 5 minutes. I think all of them are too long. I think all of them could be 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark. 90 seconds, 100 seconds, whatever you wanted to use. 5 minutes is too long. That's twice a dungeon. Let's make it every third fight instead, at like a 2 to 3 minutes. And let it feel really good. But there could be a thing at level 31 that makes this thing's cooldown cut in half, and then all of a sudden it feels really good. So like they might be like, just wait. But I feel like I would like to be able to use these kind of attacks. Like every third fight, I think is more reasonable. The problem with this is 30 seconds you gain a bunch of unconsciousness range. Not temporary hit points, unconsciousness range. Then you're going to heal a bunch of your max hit points every few seconds. That's fine. That's 6 ticks of 10% of your max hit points. Fine. So it's like, for the moments where you're like, it's him or me, you hit this button, and you like, last. And if you don't last, you lose. You don't die, but you get back up. Right? So that's what that is. I'm not mischaracterizing this, right? When am I ever hitting this? I feel like I never hit this. Can we change this to temporary hit points? For the next 30 seconds, you gain 1,000 temporary hit points. You heal for your max. So you're like healing up your real hit points while you're waiting. And then you get this boost. So let's take that half out. Scrap that first half. Your strength, dexterity, and constitution are increased by half of their base values. Again, base 16. That's not including the tome, according to this. So even if you're like max, right, base 27, because its stat increases and stuff. So even if your like primary stat is strength, for example, for 30 seconds, you're going to get 12 to your strength. So you're going to get plus 6 to attack and damage. And again, I feel like I'm a person that's pretty reasonable when it comes to my con. Like I wear items, I have my tome, I blah blah blah, right? So like you're gonna get 8. So you're going to get 4 hit points every level, so 30. So you're going to get 120 hit points for 30 seconds. Like, that half doesn't seem very good either, right? So you have two kind of... Like, it's the heal that's good, right? It's the heal part. The heal for 10% of your max hit points every 5 seconds is the part that we give a shit about. But that's not good enough to be on its own. So, like, they glued 2 mediocre powers into it to be like, here's the thing that we want to be better, but it's not good enough, so here's a thing to make it... To, like, try to make it good enough. The stat increase is okay, but at that cooldown, I'd always forget to hit it. I just feel like, am I mischaracterizing the buff? It needs to be temporary hit points, right? This currently is like a C power for like a weird heal, and maybe a little bit of you're like, okay guys, put on the last bit of DPS, we gotta push through. Maybe you hit this button for that little bit extra damage, right? Like, if this is your last big boost if you need it, but it just doesn't do the thing you're looking for it to do. I feel like this needs to be temporary hit points before it even, like, with temporary hit points, this all makes sense. Right? You're way down. You need time to heal up. You hit the button. You get the temporary hit points. It gives you time for your temporary hit points to heal back in. And it gives you that 30 seconds to kill the thing that you couldn't get past without it, right? It's just this unconscious range that's throwing me for a loop. That needs to fixed. Alright, next. What? While 2-weapon fighting, 2-handed fighting, or while in animal form, you gain +1 bonus to your critical multiplier on rolls of 19. Okay, Tobrel said there's one in basically every tree for this. The tier 5. There is. It's good. I don't know why we need to make them so weird, other than for flavor. But couldn't we, like, have them be this bonus and then give it a name, Nature's Fury? So, like... and standardize the artwork or whatever, just to make it easier. Whatever. The Great Leveler. Alright, melee attack. 3, 4, 6. Weapon dice with a 20-second cooldown always. 4, 8, 16 critical threat range. Okay, you're definitely going to upgrade this thing all the way. You stop in place to create a shockwave that blasts all enemies in a short line. The size of the line triples if Adrenaline or Quick is active. Consuming those effects, apply a trip to all enemies struck. DC 20 plus highest of Dex, Con, Strength, and Trip DCs. Yeah, I'm very excited. I think this is awesome. It sounds great, but the AoE is wonky and hard to hit. Oh, is it? Alright, so now I feel like we have to go try. Okay. Does it matter? I guess it doesn't matter. We got plenty of points, right? I guess we try this button because why not? And we don't have any of those. Okay, accept. Alright, so you're telling me that you find it to be hard to hit with it? Alright, so Adrenaline, Mantle of Fury, Primal Scream, Bridal Fury, the Great Leveler. Okay. We got a bunch of dudes in front of us. What do we got going on here? We have 2 minutes of songs left. Sure. With this button, we're going to hit our Primal Scream just to see what it's doing. Okay, that was pretty good, actually. Shit. What button do I need to hit to make that thing do more? Doubles the damage and stab bonus of your Primal Scream. If Adrenaline or Quick is active when you use it, the damage is tripled instead. Jeez, okay. Just for curiosity. And then it should go off, like it still holds for the next attack, right? Oh my god, that's insane! Alright, Bridal Fury. Let's try this thing. It kind of goes out in an arch in front of you. Seems good. God, it's such a long cooldown. Alright. So right now we've got, we're in a nice pyramid. We'll face the guy directly in front of us. Like head on. We'll, I mean, it looks like it's a cone in front of us. And it's a melee attack, right? It didn't seem that hard to me. It seems just pure gas. Alright, what happens if I, like, attack that guy? Strimtone was just using it bad? Question mark? Okay. Alright, let's take a look at this last one for this video here. I know we're getting a little bit longer than I intended. But let's take a quick look at a Shiradi Champion. This one's going to be a little tougher for me because I'm not doing bow stuff right now, and Java's certainly not doing bow stuff, but Tobrel was. And Tobrel spent a little bit of time going into it. So I'm going to point you probably in his YouTube channel for a more in-depth Shiradi Champion. But because I just want to do all of the primals together, I just want to knock it out here kind of quickly. So, Fey Favor, you get magical training feat. Okay, I'm in. Done. Whatever. I don't care anymore. That's a nice way to just easy pick that up. I often need a way to grab stupid magical training. Let's see. Each core of this ability grants range power, some spell points, some force, and universal power. In addition, it gets you +1 epic bonus to spell DCs. Only the highest epic bonus to all your spell DCs from your Destiny cores apply. Okay. So if you go all the way across in this, you get an extra +3 to your epic tree. Your epic spell DCs. Pretty excited. Prism, the Destiny Mantle. Again, no way of knowing that this is part of the mantle. Please make mantle-related things in the first column if you need them to be in a column. Or draw a line, or give us a space, or something. Please. Please, guys. Alright. Your ranged and thrown attacks have 7% chance to do extra damage. Okay. Your offensive spells have a 14% chance to deal extra damage from a random typing. Okay. Back. Prism's back. I'm in. Some spell points. Lots of force spell power in this tree. I'm very excited. Some saving throws. Luck of the Heroes feat doubling this bonus. Luck of the Heroes might be real good now. Jeez. So if you take Luck of the Heroes and then this 3 points, you're going to get +7 to your saving throws. I've had worse feats. Alright, Fey Lights. We can take an SLA with a 6-second cooldown and a 10-second cost to hit enemies in a cone with an epic strike that must make a saving throw 20 plus the highest of int charisma, whatever, and illusion bonuses versus will fort sip. Okay, so it's another big super light where they're going to hit a bunch of things and they're probably going to save somewhere or fail somewhere. Yeah, I'm all about this. I'm really going to enjoy the Shiradi Champion, I think, on Samius in the very near future. Alright, or we can take Hunt's End. Ooh, they're against each other? That's mean. Your next shot with a ranged or thrown weapon has a 75% damage increase. Yeah. Okay, so Hunt's End is Hunt's End. I'm assuming this is the thing that's going to get powered up, so it's going to be the Adrenaline of ranged, right? Some Wild Empathy, nope, extra payoff. As Tobrel mentioned, and we've kind of said before, any of these things that have 3 tiers, unless they're like 10, 20, or 10, like 10, 10, 20, 30, or 10, 15, 20, or something like that, unless those numbers increase substantially, getting +1, +2, +3 of something is not necessarily good enough. But if the third thing has like a small bonus on it, like 5% force spell power, not that that's something that makes sense with this, but if you had something like that, it would make a little bit more sense, I think, for me. Or if it was like +5 to healing and +5 universal spell power, I'd be more inclined. But as it is now, Wild Empathy, I just don't use them unless there's a reason to use Wild Empathy charges. Healing Spring uses a Wild Empathy charge. Okay. Cast Vigor on multiple targets. That's cool. I like the old Healing Spring, but this one's gonna be better if you have a bunch of Wild Empathy targets, which you're probably going to because you don't use them for anything else. Okay, I'm in. Shiradi Power. Bribery. Must make a will save versus the thing or be charmed. Ranged attack. Pin. Pin looks good. This charm, I question all these things when you apply them as how they're going to work in Reaper mode. Because if this works for 15 seconds or like a better than currently available charm, then it would be very exciting. If it's this, if it just like 10 seconds and you're done charm, like it seems like every other charm is right now, then I don't care. Phase double. 2, 4, 6 double shot. See, that's what I mean. Like, this is high enough numbers of a relevant enough stat that it's fine for 2, 4, 6. But 1, 2, 3 of something that's not super relevant. I guess again, it's your Healing Spring charges, but still, there's nowhere near on the same level. Like, look at it. It's not even on the same tier. Same tier, same point cost, everything. This doesn't even compare. Stay good. While you're in a Prism stance, you get some extra cold damage, and your offensive spell have 14% chance to proc this. And it's some extra light damage, or cold damage. Alright, yeah, so they just have some typo, copy-paste errors here, right? So you can do Stay Good and get the light damage, or you could do Stay Frosting at the cold damage. But it looks like the Stay Frosting no longer has the slow. It's nice that they power up with the ranged or appropriate light spell power. So if you're like, might be able to slide some extra cold in as opposed to light easier. I don't know, I like that. That's good. Alright, Double Rainbow upgrades our Prism. See? Same column, everybody. While in your Prism Destiny Mantle, you're ranged and blah blah blah, have 7% chance to do a random effect. Depending on origins of the effects. Okay. These effects go with various different things depending on their origins, including melee, range, and spell power. So depending on the thing that triggers it, they can have different effects. Is that what... anyone else reading it that way? I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm in for Double Rainbow. In. But I would like to know exactly what this means. So is there going to be an effect table for ranged and spell that's different from melee? And if so, is it worth doing these things on melee to get different kind of effects, or range for different kinds of effects, etc.? Does it become important? I don't know. Pierce Deception. You gain the Watchful Eye feat in. If you pet blah 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 blah, you still need the blah blah blah. If you have Watchful Eye feat, you gain 5 double shot. So this is exactly the kind of thing that we were talking about before. With here on Top Dog, if you already have the improved trip feat, it needs to do something. This one does that. Right? If you already have Watchful Eye, it gives you 5 double shot. How come this doesn't have something like that? How come this doesn't have something like that? Improve our evasion feat instead of just give you evasion. Improve your improved trip feat another notch instead of just giving it to you. Because again, you want to incentivize people to take these things, right? And if they already have a trip because they're a trip build, they're not going to need to take this. But if you give me an extra, because I think improved trip basically says instead of like your base trip starts at plus 13, it's like starts at plus 14 or something weird like that. So if this was just like instead of starting at base 17, it started at base 22, I'd be like, hell yeah! If I was a trip build guy, you know what I mean? Change it. You did it here for improved deception. Grant you a feat. If you already have it, does something more. Do it to these. Okay. Improved Shiradi power. Pin or Beguile. Enemies charmed by Beguiling Charm deal double damage with attacks and spells away under the effects of Beguile. Who gives a shit? They're not going to last very long. Unless the charms are going to last in Reaper for an extended time, they don't matter. It doesn't have to be super, super long, but it has to be longer than they do now. So it doesn't matter if enemies do double damage. Who cares? Also, have you guys ever charmed an enemy, but it doesn't know that it's charmed? So it gets the buffs for being charmed by you, but it still attacks you? Imagine this, how much fun that would be. Alright, and then you have Pin. That's just like Pin before. Okay. Long live Pin. This charm is nonsense. Fey Force. Flay Flash. Fey Lights now additionally affect undead, plants, construct oozes who would normally be immune to such effects. I really like the Flay Flash. Flay Flash? Fey Flash. This is also how you upgrade your Hunt's End to get the second tier like Adrenaline. Whirling Wrists. God, that's really high. This used to be an easy twist-inable thing for people. That's super out of range now. There's zero chance that your throwing people probably are going to be in like tier 5 of Fury of the Wild. And then be able to get 22 points in a... Sorry, 20... Jesus, this is the first one that costs 2 and then upgrades cost 1. So this costs 4 to get 30% attack speed with thrown weapons. The first one costs 2, the second one costs 1, the third one costs 1. This is the only one that we've seen that's done that too, right? I don't like it. This is a whole bunch of feel bad. Lower it, maybe? If you just lowered it and kept the cost the same. Yeah, you could do that. You could lower it and keep the cost the same, and then it would be fine. Also, immune to blindness is nonsense. This is not a power. Stop it. Okay. Let's see. Whirling Wrists. The day's portion of Fade Light is now a stun, just pure gas. Overwhelming Force now increases the thing. So there's our next tier to make Hunt's End amazing, just like Smash, just like Adrenaline. Are they at the same tier levels even? So Prism and Shiradi Strike, Hunt's End. Yeah. So that this, but why are they not in the same spot in the tree too? If you're gonna put it here, put this one here, or vice versa. So they Make sense, people. Please. Okay. The next one... Yeah, here it was. The next one was at tier level 3. This one's at level 3. Then the one after that was at level 4. I think. Okay, yeah, so they lined up that at least. Put them in a column, guys. Put them in a column. Make it easy. Use a pattern. It's easier for you guys too. You gained the favorite enemy Fey feat. Again, if you have it, what do you get from it extra? If you already have favorite enemy Fey, what else can you give me? Do I get an extra +1? Do I get an extra +2? Does my bonuses, are they doubled? I think that would make a lot of sense to me. If I already have the favorite enemy and I got it again, the bonuses are doubled. Track. I'm really good at killing one particular monster. Really good at it. Track. Dealing damage to enemies reduce their armor class by 1 and fortification by 2. Stacks 10 times. Track is great for boss fights. Bad for everywhere else. Okay. Fey form. Destiny Mantle Increaser. So this hit the mantle, this hits the mantle. This didn't hit the mantle. It does, but it didn't say it, right? It says while in your prism stance. So, like, doesn't directly upgrade the mantle, but it affects the mantle directly. Okay. While in Prison Destiny, you gain 10 DR Cold and 5 Force and 5 Universal Spell Power. I'm loving this Force and Universal Spell Power throughout the tree. I can understand why some people might not like it, but I like it. Stay frozen. While in prison stance, your range and thrown attacks and offensive spells have a 7% chance to freeze living creatures. Require stay frosty. That's very hot. That's very hot. Alright. Stay still while in prison stance, your range and thrown attacks and offensive spells do 7% chance to paralyze living creatures. So cold to freeze or good to paralyze. That's pretty cool. It's a powerful effect. Plus $3 to all spell DCs. Ranged weapons get a thing. Again, remember how we said this is the same? Again, why is this not in the same spot in the tree? Just put them in the same spot. Every 4 wilderness lore feats grant you +1 dodge. You are always considered to be in point-blank shot range while wielding longbows or short bows. No, you are always in point-blank shot range. While wielding longbows and short bows, you have a base attack bonus equal to your character level, 10 force, and 10 universal spell power. But that's not while you are in... Not while you're using a longbow or short bow. That's all the time. I wish they could learn to break this stuff up a little bit nicer too. While wielding longbows and short bows, you have a base attack bonus equal to your character level, period. That's got to be the end of it, right? And then 10 force and 10 universal spell power is separate. So the builds that I was looking for maybe doing this on, I don't think we're actually going to end up doing this. But maybe. So my force build character could very easily slide into Shiradi Champion and be quite happy. So we might try that. The last of the cores, Ghost Touch for your weapons. It seems very good. And then Audience with the Queen has the same kind of things that works. Plus you get an epic spell bonus to +3 because you get 1 and then 2, right? In addition, this grants you +1 epic bonus to all spell DCs. Oh, just one, not one per. Okay, so this gives you one. This will go to 3. So you won't get 4. You'll only get 3. So this is only plus 2 more. Still, plus 2 more. Yeah, I'm really impressed with the Shiradi Champion. I think these 3 trees in particular are probably the best ones so far that I've seen. With the possible exception of Shadow Dancer, which I think we'll cover in our next little video here. But overall, I think they're really good. My main complaints have more to do with being able to visualize where things are, having them laid out in such a way that they're consistent from tree to tree, that we know where certain things go. Our mantles are always going to be in this area, and things that affect those mantles will be in this column or adjacent, pointing into them. Then everyone has a epic, what do they call it? Epic strike, pretty much. And that epic strike goes in this spot and is modified and stuff in this column. And then you'll have these kind of things in this area. I feel like they could tidy that stuff up instead of making us peck and choose and hunt and fight in every tree. I think you can tidy that up and get some nice organization there, and I think people would really appreciate it. It's a small thing, I think, but it'll be really nice. Otherwise, I don't think any of these abilities didn't work. We didn't check them all, like we didn't go through everything with a fine-tooth comb, but that's not what we're doing with this video. I just wanted to give an overview of the 3 of them, and try to give you guys an opportunity to chime in if you happen to catch them live, or ask the question in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer it. Alright, everybody, as always, I'm recording this as part of my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/SamusGrobo, and if you'd like to join us, that's one of the best ways to do it. Alright, everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Toodles!